Hey gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos today. So today's video, I wanted to discuss a question that I get asked. Oh my gosh, if I had a penny for every time I'm asked this question, I probably would be a millionaire, even with all those pennies. If it was a pound, even more so. But I get asked this question here on YouTube, at every podcast interview I do, when I do events, and even in my Instagram DMs. This is probably, I would say, in the top 2 questions I am always asked. So I wanted to do a specific video for you today to answer this question in depth and to share with you my thoughts and my opinions on whether I believe, do all of our thoughts manifest? Because it's a question that is on so many people's minds clearly, and I want to put it to rest. I want to reassure you and also give you the clarity that you need to move forwards with your manifestation journey to actually manifest your dreams. But if you're new here to my channel, then welcome. My name's Emma. I'm an award-winning life coach, 2 times best-selling author, law of attraction YouTuber here on my channel, and I'm the host of the #1 spirituality podcast on iTunes, Spiritual Queens Badass Podcast. And here on my channel, I cover all things law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, and self-help. So not only do I really hope you're going to enjoy this video, but the abundance of videos here on my channel over the last 8 years. So why do I feel that this is a question on so many people's lips? I feel like it is because I've had this question before in my own law of attraction journey many moons ago, 7 years ago when I first discovered this. I absolutely, when I was reading old school books like The Secret, The Magic, Ask and It's Given, very much in those books, it's presented to you of like, you must think positive thoughts. If you think negative thoughts, bad things are going to happen. Now, in our human complex minds, when we absorb that information, when we read that information, of course, we're going to think negative thoughts because our mind is wired in such a way where if it's like, don't think about blue elephants, don't think about blue elephants, I bet you just thought of a blue elephant, right? So it's almost like our brains rebel and we're like, oh damn, I thought of the blue elephant. So the same goes with these thoughts of if you're trying to cultivate a positive lifestyle, if you're trying to manifest your dreams, if you're trying to shift your mindset into a positive one, you don't want to be plagued with negative inner critic, negative talk, and negative thoughts, so to speak, of the past or about anything. But I really want to reassure you, you are human. I am human. Every single person on this planet is a human, hopefully. And we all have between 60 to 80,000 thoughts every single day. Now that is a lot, right? Imagine trying to count all of them. That is a lot. Now, do we manifest 60 to 80,000 things a day? No, we don't. And I really want to explain to you why in some cases what that information we've been given does make sense and is true to some degree, and actually where I feel it's more harmful and causing this endless confusion with people. So to simply answer the question, no, not all of your thoughts do manifest. And I want you now to think back in your life at maybe a situation or something that happened to you where you were really worried and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried this is going to happen. Like, what if this happens? We've all had those moments. We're human. And 9 times out of 10, those fears, those thoughts never really happen. And as a Virgo, myself and any other fellow Virgos watching, it is literally in our star sign to think of every possible scenario and outcome. So no, not all of those do manifest. But what does manifest is your consistent vibration. And that's why I really want to put the focus on the energy side of things instead of just thoughts, because your thoughts do create your reality, but your energy trumps all. Your energy creates your reality. So like I said, we have so many random, weird and wonderful thoughts throughout the day, right? Not all of them manifest, but what you are seeing manifest is your consistent vibration. So if you are thinking about blue elephant, there's probably not a big amount of attachment to that, right? You're probably thinking, right, Emma's mentioned that 5 times now, but there's like no big real attachment to that, right? Whereas if you were thinking about like manifesting a relationship and maybe you'd experienced some hardships before or challenging relationships or a situation where you've really had to find healing and find peace with that, then you're going to have more attachment to that. So then the experiences that you're experiencing will be a reflection of your thoughts, but more so your consistent vibration. So if you have a bad day, that does not mean bad things are going to manifest into your life. It just does not work like that. It's not that simple. The law of attraction is one of the 7 energetic laws of the universe. 7, not just 1, 7. And so many people pinhole the law of attraction as this like be all and end all, which it is fantastic. I live and breathe it. I teach it. I freaking love it, of course. But there are also 6 other energetic laws that come into effect, like the law of cause and effect, the law of polarity, for example. So we need to be able to experience a bad day to understand what a good day is. But that does not mean you manifested it to yourself. It means you're human, and it means you're experiencing the polarity of life, the vast array of emotions that are available to us in this human existence, right? So it's totally normal to feel the full spectrum of your emotions, and healthy. And we also need to not suppress things, because again, with a lot of these old school teachings, and I remember reading this vividly and being so troubled by this because I couldn't get it right. I couldn't do it. So I thought that there was something wrong with me. I felt that everybody else had all these positive thoughts and I was just plagued with negative thoughts. So very much in these teachings, they have this notion of if you have a negative thought, replace it with a positive, like get grateful and focus on something positive. Now, yes, to some degree that does work, but also that bypasses a beautiful opportunity to see why that thought is coming up. So to give you a real tangible example of this, I always share this when I talk about how I uncovered inner child work and how I uncovered the power of actually honoring and processing your thoughts, all of them, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. So years ago, back in, I think it was like 2018, I was walking around Waitrose of all places, which is a UK supermarket, doing my weekly shop. And I all morning had this bugging thought in my head, this negative thought, and it was winding me up, and every aisle I was going around, it was getting worse. And of course, in my I'm going to master the law of attraction mode. I've read this tip. I'm going to replace it. I'm going to think of something positive. I'm going to be grateful. And the thought didn't go. The thought got louder and louder and louder and louder until I was so miffed off at this point that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm broken. Like, clearly this doesn't work for me and works for everybody else. Like, I'm just broken. What is these thoughts? I cannot even handle this. So when I got home, I was so mad that this had been taking over my whole entire day that I just sat down and I was like, right, what do you want? And I just addressed it. I was like, what do you want? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you literally getting louder and ruining my day? And that little voice instantly stops and was like, I feel scared. And I was like, right, okay. And then when I started to talk to it more, I realized that that little voice just wanted love. It just wanted to be seen. And as soon as I acknowledged it, as soon as I saw it, all the power dispelled. Everything went. And I thought, well, they don't teach you that, do they? They didn't say you could acknowledge it and feel it and then, whoa, okay, it feels better, the pressure goes. So you have to look at it like a pressure cooker. If you are putting the lid on and you're like ignoring it, it's going to spill over. It's going to get louder until it is acknowledged. So I believe the inner critic, the ego, that negative voice within our mind that giving us the little negative self-talk, like you can't do this, who are you to do this, those thoughts that come up that we deem negative or bad is all coming from our subconscious. It's coming from that inner child, the inner critic, the ego, and all it wants is to be acknowledged. That's it. And people don't know that secret. So I really want to challenge you over the next 21 days. As we know, it takes 21 days to change a pattern, change a habit. I really want you to speak to that voice with love. I want you to acknowledge it. If you have a negative thought come up, I want you to sit with it. And I want you to be like, I see you, I hear you, what's up? How are you feeling? Just ask those simple questions and see how quickly that moves through you. When we allow ourselves to process our emotions and process our thoughts, they move through us so much quicker. When we ignore and we suppress, they just stay there. They just stay there and they'll rear their head in another way. They'll get louder again. It will come up again until you address it, until you allow yourself to process it, because we're having a mind, body, spirit experience, right? Through consciousness, through our mind, our cognitive mind, and our physical body, remember. So you need to allow yourself to feel it, otherwise your body's going to be storing it, which is also not good. And again, it's just going to pop up and annoy you week in, week out, which is what you don't want. So by acknowledging and honoring your feelings, I know this is another question people ask, does that then mean I'm affirming it? Does that mean I'm manifesting that into my existence? Absolutely not. When you feel, you heal. When you acknowledge, you process. So you're never going to be then in that consistent vibration because you're allowing yourself the time to rest. You're allowing yourself to regulate. You're allowing yourself to come back to that natural state of peace, of groundedness, so much quicker than being in that constant state of fight or flight, stress, anxiety, because that thought's plaguing you, and then you're trying to control it and be like, oh my God, no, I can't think negative thoughts. I must push it down. I must think positive. What we resist persists, right? So we can't ignore these thoughts that come up, but they can give us incredible, incredible insights into what's going on beneath the surface, what's going on in our subconscious. So whenever a negative thought really bugs me and really comes up with force, not only do I sit with it and talk to it, like I said, and obviously the power instantly goes, I then start to look what's underneath that. What's caused that? What's triggering that up? What is the message from my soul behind that, of something that maybe I need to look at or maybe I need to address in order to release that, in order to go back to that positive high vibe state. So it's not sustainable for you to think that you can be high vibe every single day of the year. It would be great if we could, obviously, but we are human, right? We need to feel the full spectrum of our emotions, and it's okay to have a down day. It's okay to rest. It's okay to take a day off from your manifestations. You don't have to be doing it every single day. The more you honor yourself, the more you honor your feelings, you will naturally get into that place of high vibration, which is what we want for the law of attraction to work in the most magnificent ways. Faking it doesn't work because energy doesn't lie. So you can be like, I'm positive, I'm happy, I'm thinking positive, happy thoughts, and in the inside, that is not what's going on at all. But the universe is going to know that. The divine mirror that you're showing up to, that co-creation process with the universe, if you're showing up to the divine mirror with that stress, with that anxiety, with that fear, guess what's going to be reflected back to you, right? So the quickest, most effective way to having more grounded, calm, peaceful thoughts is to work with your inner critic, ego, inner child. Give them love. Talk to them with love. Don't hate them. Don't shout at them. Talk to them with love and listen to the thoughts that are coming up, because the thoughts that are coming up are giving you nuggets and giving you clues to what maybe needs to be released, what maybe needs some attention, and maybe what needs some of your TLC and healing with. So there are so many opportunities to learn from our negative thoughts. There are so many opportunities to learn from our emotions as well. And manifesting is all about feeling. It's all about feeling. And that's why I truly believe that feeling and energy trumps your thoughts, because we have a whole array of thoughts, as we've established by now, but not every single one of them manifest. We don't live in a world of instantaneous manifestation. Praise the Lord, because that would be chaotic at that point. But what does manifest is our consistent vibration. What does manifest is your consistent feelings and energy. So it's really important that actually, instead of striving for perfection and instead of striving for zero negative thoughts, because that's just not possible. It's just not ever going to be possible with how our minds work, with the world, with the collective energy, with everything around us, and just our experiences in life. So where did those negative thoughts come from? Well, they come from our subconscious, as I've said, and they come from our experiences throughout life. So from the ages of 0 to 7, our minds are in yes mode. They're like sponges. We are literally absorbing everything that is going on around us, from our parents, our caregivers, our family, our friends, school, everything. And by the age of 7, it's not exclusive, but normally by the age of 7, our brains then have our core patterns and beliefs. And then we go out into the world saying, this is me, this is my experiences, this is who I am, right? So we're all coming from that conditioning, from those beliefs and patterns that were formed at that early age. And of course, patterns and beliefs are absolutely formed even after that, even throughout your whole life, they're formed as well. So again, we're always coming from our our experiences. Our thoughts are reflecting our subconscious, and our thoughts are reflecting the beliefs and patterns that we hold about ourselves, about life, about love, about money, about absolutely everything. So again, this is why I say there's such a great opportunity within those thoughts to explore maybe where there are some limiting beliefs and fears, maybe where there is some work that could be done to release that for good. So what normally happens when you set your intentions and you go along this path is you are going to be challenged, and you're going to be challenged by those limiting beliefs and fears if there are any there. Because when you go into the second step of belief, which is part of my 5-step manifesting process, the steps are on my channel if you want to go and have a look at them. They're in a playlist of where to start, how to begin. When we're in that second step, it's all about looking at the energy. It's looking about what stands in between you and your desire. Is there any blocks? Is there any resistance there? So if you do have any limiting beliefs or blocks, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to come up in that belief step, because in order for you to manifest your desire, you have to become the version of yourself who has that desire. You have to become that energetic match. And the only way you're going to become that energetic match is by releasing everything that stops you from embodying that here and now, which will be patterns, will be beliefs, will be mindset, will be negative thoughts that might come up. So again, talking to yourself with love is the absolute most important first step, which is going to transform so much for you alone. And secondly, you might want to grab my third book, Hurt, Healing, Healed, which is the ultimate guide to releasing blocks, limiting beliefs and fears to supercharge your manifestation. So this is a fantastic guide which is going to help you to identify, release, and move into that alignment state. So whether you use the book, whether you use videos, whether you use meditations, whatever you choose to use, please don't beat yourself up for having negative thoughts. Every single human being has negative thoughts. Even I have negative thoughts sometimes. Every single person does. And not all of them are going to manifest. You don't have to panic and think, oh my gosh, I had that one thought that was going to happen and now it's going to happen. And what really makes me really frustrated and sad with the lack of context behind that tool that's taught in so many old school teachings is that it creates fear. It creates so much goddamn fear in people of like, I can't possibly think that, I can't possibly feel my feelings. And the DMs I've received over the years and messages of people in sheer panic that they're having this thought, and it just doesn't need to be like that, because what you resist persists. And I always say, take the focus off what's actually coming up in that negative thought. If it's like the fear of health, we'll use that as an example. If you were so petrified that something's going to happen to your health, stop looking at it just being health. What's underneath that? What's the real core fear? Is it loss? Is it sickness? Like, what is the actual core emotional feeling underneath that fear? Because 9 times out of 10, it will appear as a surface level fear of like fear of health. And then underneath that could be rejection. It could be loss. It could be worthiness. It could be absolutely anything. So I always challenge people to look beneath the fear as well. Don't just take it at face value. And I really hope that people are going to see this video and receive that relief and that weight off your shoulders that no, not all your thoughts are going to manifest. That's just not how the universe works, or any of the other 6 energetic laws work. It's just not that simple. There's more complexities to life, and at the end of the day, your energy is what trumps all. So focus on your energy, focus on your vibration, and instead of harshly critiquing the thoughts and again, striving for perfection, it's more about leaning into that messy, non-linear self where you look at the thoughts with love and compassion and work through them as and when you need to. And I always say you can always judge your healing, not by how often the thought comes up, because thoughts will come up. That's just how our brain works. It doesn't mean you haven't healed. It doesn't mean it hasn't worked, but it's actually judge it by your comeback rate. How quickly can you regulate yourself again? How quickly are you coming back to that neutral place where you're like, okay, I had that thought and it's okay, and I actually feel okay. That is how you know you're healing, is by your comeback rate, not by how often you have that thought. So I hope that's really helped you, and I hope it's put your mind at ease about what thoughts are and whether they impact our manifestations. But of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. Do you believe all of our thoughts manifest? Have you experienced that sheer fear and panic of reading these teachings before and not fully understanding what that means? Let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your experiences with this, and I'm sure everybody else watching watching. Would love to hear as well. But thank you so much, gorgeous souls, for watching. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I reply to them all. And you can also join my free Law of Attraction support group over on Facebook, where you can join myself and other like-minded souls, where we talk all things Law of Attraction and spirituality. I hope you have a fantastic week, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be on Friday. Lots of love.